Hello, family. This is like a part two. I was thinking about a question that I was asked. We were watching the Atlanta Housewives of Atlanta, and it was the episode where they were out on a boat, and Cynthia has a new beau, and she was telling another host or another female on the show that she did not want to fall in love with this guy and he not be able to satisfy her. And so I was asked, what did I think about that? And I think as an older woman, now in my 60s, I think that that reason sounds pretty ridiculous to me. Now, do I think sex matters in a relationship? Yes, I do. I do. I think that candidly, I could say that I wouldn't want to be in a relationship where I was totally unfulfilled intimately. But I also have to play the devil's advocate and say a woman, when she is faced with the decision of having a good man and this man might not be so physically pleasing to her, I would have to ask her as a lady, don't you know how to get gratification on your own? And I'm not saying that, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that a woman should have to gratify herself without her man. But sometimes a woman has to teach a man. And sometimes a woman might have a preferred anatomy when it comes to a man because, frankly, she hasn't taken care of herself. She's been so adventurous with her own body and her own intimacies. And she has been adventuring out, but she hasn't been taking care of herself. So, what do I mean by taking care of herself? I'm saying that just as women have to take care of their outer bodies, there's methods and means for women to take care of their inner bodies. Is she physically fit? You know, now there's not only the enhancement of the breast or the buttocks or tummy tucks, but they also have surgeries that tighten up a woman's vagina. But I'm not saying that a woman necessarily has to go through a surgery to have a tight vagina. There are exercises that women can practice to keep their vagina fit, and they're called Kegel exercises. And so, what I would tell young women is to not to not be so open with your body that you just just free to have sex with every man that comes around. Have some pride and some exclusiveness and have some self worth, not to experience sex on every hand, because when you do that, you do experience men in a different way. If a woman has, well, I'll take this for example. If if there's a lady of the night, and she has so many customers a day, for instance, a prostitute, maybe this a street prostitute, and she has 10 customers a day. She's not gonna experience sex if she's been experiencing 10 different men for a prolonged number of years. She's not gonna experience sex the way a woman would who is, for instance, a virgin, who has had only one man in her life and become accustomed to that. Then you take into consideration childbearing. That's why I would advocate vagina health to for you young women to practice Kegel exercises. Ask your doctor about it and practice that. I don't think that the size of a man. I think that when women look at the size of a man, that says something about your physical health. And I think about waiting to exhale. And you remember when the young lady was she was having sex. She was talking to herself, and she says, "I would just squeeze my stomach in real tight, and he will feel like the real thing." And I think that that is an example of an empowered woman as far as her body being fit. I think that maybe she was saying that, or we could assume, we can read anything into that, but because the writers didn't really make it clear, he kind of left that up to our imagination. But I think that a woman who pays attention to her body, who maintains a physically fit vagina, would be able to say that. And I think that in a woman knowing her own body, she just doesn't leave her pleasure up to her mate, that she knows her body and she knows what to do to find pleasure with the person that she has chosen to find pleasure with. I think that when we have a lot of experiences, like one pastor said that that he had experienced a lot of women, and he said when he finally decided to marry his wife, he said he was so used to women uh, swinging from the chandeliers that he tried some things with his wife, and she said, frankly, I don't need all of that. And so sometimes we experience things with other people, and then we get with someone and they just don't need all of that. And so I say that that women should be selective, and men should be selective with who they decide to be with. And but personally, at my age, 62 years old, if a good man came into my life, regardless of his anatomy, um, hey, we would just have to work that out. If a man doesn't have stamina, they have all types of male enhancements. They have surgeries for men as well as women. They have medications that help both women and men. And so intimacy should not be the sole reason that you decide whether you like a man or not. That's just a small percentage. I think that when you look at how he's going to care for you, when you look at what he brings to the table, um, how he treats you, is he giving you the things that are important to you? Is his intellectual level up to par? Is his spiritual level up to par? Those are the things that's going to matter the most. The physical is just a small part. And I say that from experience. I don't say it not knowing what I was talking about. My former husband, who has passed away, he was on a lot of medication, and we were faced with challenges because I was some years younger than he was, and we just had to approach it as a problem that could be solved. And when we approached it and talked about it, we went to a urologist. He made some recommendations. We had to reteach ourselves how to do some things intimately, and we had a very uh, gratifying and satisfying sexual life together. And so I would say to the young ladies, don't let that be something that makes you walk away from a good man. Uh, that's just one little problem. If everything, if 80% of that man is good, honey, you can work out that other. You can teach him, and you might have to learn, how to do different things. I had one friend whose husband left her, and he was involved in pornography, and he was always cheating. And when I questioned her about what was going on, she was very unadventurous and had never even tried a new sexual position with him. And so I'm not all loose and for everything. I don't believe in the 50 shades of gray. I have some boundaries, but I just say be open and know yourself. Be well informed, and don't just put it on the man. It's part of your responsibility too. So don't choose a man uh, by the sexual experience only. Choose is a lot more to him than his penis. So that's my take for Cynthia and for anybody else. Okay, then. I'll talk to you next time. Bye bye.